and get next day installation. Our luxury showroom has over 84 live displays, home living fireplaces.
Good morning, America. Breaking overnight helicopter crash, a sightseeing tour ending in disaster, going down near the Grand Canyon. At least 3 people killed. The challenge now in treating the injured.
Our rescue efforts are being hampered by high winds and the darkness and rugged terrain of the canyon.
Company's past incidents as this investigation begins.
Presidential backlash. Donald Trump taking aim at the Me Too movement, saying the lives of the accused are being destroyed by a mere allegation. Now he's coming under fire from female Democrats. The call for congressional hearings.
Best of enemies? Sex and the City's Kim Cattrall lashing out at her former co-star, Sarah Jessica Parker, accusing Parker of exploiting Cattrall's personal tragedy. The drama playing out on social media. Were they ever really friends?
And Gold Medal Day. Team USA triumphant. The teen who went from last to first delivering under pressure as high winds postpone the men's downhill. Skaters deliver and dance, and that mustache making headlines.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, everybody. Paul is off today, but we're very lucky to have ace White House correspondent Cecilia Vega on set. Good morning.
Good to be here, as always.
Speaking of the White House in a moment, we're going to be talking about the latest presidentially provoked uproar, this one involving Me Too. But let's start here with some breaking news.
Yeah, this breaking news is out of Russia. It's just coming in right now. Reports of a passenger airliner crashing. ABC's Jennifer Eccleston is monitoring the latest developments from our London bureau. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, Cecilia and Dan. This news just reaching us here. A Russian aircraft disappearing shortly after takeoff from Moscow's airport. Russian media are reporting the Saratov Airlines and Antonov plane with 71 people on board vanishing from radar about 2 minutes after takeoff. There are reports the wreckage has been reported from the air and that emergency services are racing to the scene. And one emergency source telling Russian media that crew and passengers had no chance of surviving this crash. Now, obviously, there's no word on the cause of this crash, but you can imagine as this was so close to Moscow, that would be a heavily populated area. Again, this is a developing story, a Russian passenger plane disappearing after takeoff and possibly crashing outside of Moscow. Dan and Cecilia.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you. We want to turn now to a helicopter crash in the Grand Canyon. You can see the horrifying images, the chopper going down in flames in that rocky terrain there. At least 3 people dead and several others injured. Rescue choppers are now arriving on scene, but this is a very tricky rescue mission.
ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is at an airfield in Las Vegas. She has more on the company's safety record here, as well as the difficulty of this rescue mission. Marcy, good morning to you.
Guys, good morning. It is still unclear where that flight originated, but we do know that tour company operates many of its flights from here in Vegas. Right now, the focus is on getting the 4 people injured to safety. This morning, a tour helicopter in a ball of flames after crashing in the Grand Canyon. Now, a desperate rescue operation underway for survivors. Officials saying 7 people were on board, 3 killed. You can see rescue crews battling treacherous, rocky conditions. These harrowing images from a tourist on a different helicopter tour exploring the canyon. A witness describing the scene.
And I saw helicopter making a couple weird turns like it was getting ready to land, but I'd never seen that type of landing before. It tilted, went down between a mountain, tail broke off, and it crashed. I heard the one big boom, and then probably about 5 explosions after that and burst into flames.
It happened just at sunset Saturday near Quartermaster Canyon. The helicopter, a Eurocopter EC-130 made by Airbus. The tour company, Papillon Airways, advertising on its site a day of adventure touring the majestic sights of the Grand Canyon, saying it flies roughly 600,000 passengers a year on Grand Canyon and other tours. These images of the winding region showing just how difficult the area can be to navigate.
Because of the ruggedness of the terrain, you can't just walk in to rescue the people or drive in, so all rescues have to be conducted by aircraft.
A search of Papillon Airways' safety record reveals since 1996 at least 16 incidents in the region. Back in 2001, a helicopter returning to Las Vegas from the Grand Canyon crashed, killing 6 with 1 survivor. And it's still unclear what caused this crash. The FAA and NTSB will investigate. Dan, Cecilia.
Okay, Marcy, thank you. A lot of questions still, so let's bring in ABC News consultant Stephen Gagniard, a former Marine Corps pilot who has flown in that area in the Grand Canyon before. Steve, the conditions there, you were saying, can be especially tough.
Yeah, I'll state the obvious, Cecilia, and it's some of the most rugged terrain in the world, which is why people go to see it. But until you fly there, you can't really appreciate just how tough the flying is. And the other half of it is that the air is very thin, since the altitude is quite high at the rim, and so very, very challenging flying conditions. You know, looking at the impact here, you can see why it's been tough to get in rescuers overnight. It's in a ravine. The way that we're looking at that wreckage, it does not look like it was a controlled crash. Just from what we're seeing, it looks like it was something catastrophic that happened just before impact.
Steve, given how tricky it is to fly in this area and given how tricky it is to operate a rescue mission, would you recommend that tourists not take these chopper flights?
Dan, you know, people have to understand that these are, when you go to these beautiful places, you're in rugged terrain, and if something happens to the aircraft or the helicopter, that you're being put in some a tough situation. So I think when people and families think about, are we going to get on that airplane, are we going to get on that helicopter, you need to have done your due diligence, and you need to understand that it's not a Disneyland ride and that there are risks.
Steve Gagniard, we really appreciate your expertise on a Sunday morning. Thank you. We're going to move on now to politics. And as we said, President Trump wading directly into the Me Too debate.
Yeah, in his latest tweet storm, the president defending the accused and expressing no sympathy for the accusers, saying people are being brought down by, quote, mere allegations. ABC's David Wright has more on this story from the White House. David, good morning.
Good morning, Cecilia and Dan. President Trump's call for due process for men accused of sexual wrongdoing is drawing catcalls and boos from Democratic members of Congress, especially women, some of them making the point that the women who accused Trump deserve due process themselves. In the aftermath of a scandal that's cost 2 West Wing staffers their jobs, President Trump tweeted a full-on critique of the Me Too movement. People's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation, he said. Some are true and some are false. Some are old and some are new. There is no recovery for someone falsely accused. Life and career are gone. Is there no such thing any longer as due process? This, one day after Trump lavished praise on former White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter, who resigned after 2 of his ex-wives accused him of domestic abuse. Porter denies the allegation.
We absolutely wish him well. Did a very good job while he was at the White House.
Women Democrats are now slamming Trump. Senator Patty Murray shot back. Women's lives are upended every day by sexual violence and harassment. I'm going to keep standing with them and trusting them, even if the president won't. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand went even further, reminding her constituents that more than a dozen women have accused Trump of sexual misconduct. If he wants due process, let's have congressional hearings tomorrow. I would support that, and my colleagues should too. When it comes to allegations of sexual misconduct, the president has tended to give allies like Senate candidate Roy Moore the benefit of the doubt, while calling out opponents like former Senator Al Franken.
Women are very special. I think it's a very special time because a lot of things are coming out, and I think that's good for our society, and I think it's very, very good for women.
One woman the president does stand by is Hope Hicks, the White House communications director, who's been on his team since Trump Tower. Hicks was known to be dating Rob Porter during their time at the White House. Trump said to be less than pleased with her handling of the Porter situation. But Saturday, he issued a formal statement saying Hope is absolutely fantastic, calling her smart, very talented, and respected by all. Now, Republicans aren't too happy about the president's comments either. They've been hoping that he would stick to the message about tax cuts and the economy. Instead, he's veering off and infuriating women voters. And many Republicans worry that's not going to help them when it comes to the midterms. Cecilia and Dan?
David Wright at the White House, thank you. Lots to talk about here, so let's bring in ABC News chief anchor George Stephanopoulos, who's going to be hosting this week later this morning right here on ABC. Good morning. So is there perhaps some political calculation on the part of Donald Trump here, given the fact that there are people in the country who do believe Me Too has gone too far, and he believes, I believe he believes, gained from wading into cultural controversies like the NFL
no question
kneeling,
about that.
et cetera, et
yeah,
cetera.
no question about that last point. I don't understand a strategy here if there is one. I think it's much more about impulse and instinct. I mean, when you look at the president's history, whenever one of his friends or allies gets in trouble with accusations of sexual harassment or abuse, he defends the man. Whether it's Roger Ailes or Bill O'Reilly or Corey Lewandowski during the campaign, or himself, when more than a dozen women came forward. So I think this is just what the president believes, where his instincts are, where he historically stands, and he just is angry with all this coverage, so you get an angry tweet on Saturday morning.
You don't think he likes saying something provocative and then cue the rage machine and let the Democrats freak out?
I suppose, though, but take David Wright's last point. I mean, this is not going to help his party this year with women voters as we approach these crucial midterm elections. If the president loses the House, then he's much more vulnerable to impeachment. So maybe that is the president's calculation. Maybe that's the tactic he's deciding to take, but I don't think it's a long-term strategy. It's pretty short-sighted.
One of the big questions we've been reporting on all week is just how much John Kelly, the chief of staff, knew and when he knew it. The president, we're told, is furious with him, so much so that they've got a list, basically, of possible replacements. Is this enough to do him in?
I don't think the president would want to admit that something has gone wrong and so act right in the wake of what happened last week. But you're exactly right. We're hearing that the president is very angry, that he's working the phones, sounding out possible replacements for John Kelly, and that their relationship has been sort of on the wane for some time. And as you know, you cover him every day. This is not the first misstep by John Kelly in the last several weeks. So I think he is on relatively thin ice. As for the timing, hard to know. But our John Carl also reported that he expressed a willingness to the president to resign, even though he didn't offer the resignation.
You mentioned those midterms coming up. Republicans really would rather be talking about tax cuts. Right now, we're only hearing from Democratic women on this one. Can Republicans really continue to sit this out?
They don't like to be asked questions about the president's tweets. I think there's no question about that. They would prefer, as David Wright said, they prefer to be talking about tax cuts. They prefer to be talking about the economy. They're going to try to duck these questions if they can. We'll see if that can hold on.
George Stephanopoulos, thank you. You don't want me to say this, but yesterday was your birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Now, as a reminder, George has a big show coming up. He's going to go one-on-one with Counselor to the President, Kellyanne Conway, on all the fallout from the White House's response to those domestic abuse allegations.
Plus that big, I'm going to say big, powerhouse roundtable weighs in on this week, because I'm coming. It's going to be great.
Is
Everyone
big
should
powerhouse redundant?
Not when I'm sitting on
fair
it.
enough, fair enough. Also super awesome. Okay, Cecilia's going to be part of that roundtable. George, thank you again. We really appreciate it.
We want to switch gears now to the Olympics. The U.S. struck gold for the first time overnight at the Winter Games in Pyeongchang, giving the U.S. its first and so far only gold medal.
So far.
So far.
And the man of the hour, by the way, apparently he's just a boy. So let's go live to Pyeongchang and ABC's Amy Robach. Amy, good morning to you, or good evening to you.
Yes, it is evening here, but good morning to you, Dan and Cecilia. That's right. His name is Red Gerard, and he is just 17 years old. He pulled off an unbelievable upset to land Team USA its first gold medal in these Olympic Games, going from last to first. This morning, Team USA no longer empty-handed, winning its first gold medal.
Red Gerard is on top of the podium.
17-year-old snowboarder Red Gerard, who was in last place heading into the final run, delivering when the pressure was on. The young athlete's creativity on full display in slopestyle, pulling out stylish tricks, big air spins, and perfectly clean lands.
Red Gerard is your Olympic gold medalist in slopestyle.
On this side of the slopes, the crowd pumped. But not at the highly anticipated men's downhill. The event postponed because of the very strong 45-mile-per-hour winds. Also canceled for the day, the women's snowboard qualifying event. The games have been filled with finesse.
Oh, Hamlet goes down!
But also several slips and falls.
To go down.
Even a wardrobe malfunction from the home team. Oh, a little trouble there. The Shibutani siblings from Team USA skating into second place in the short dance event. But the biggest star of the game so far?
Aerodynamic mustache.
This Norway ski jumper's mustache. The athlete celebrating not just his bronze medal, but also his extremely well-groomed best friend.
Yes!
And since we've been here, we have gotten 3 emergency alerts on all of our phones, all in Korean, by the way. We had to get them translated. One for a shallow earthquake in the eastern part of South Korea, then one for fire dangers because of the extremely dry weather and the high winds, and then a third warning, everyone to bundle up because of the dangerously cold temperatures. Tomorrow, guys, it's supposed to feel like 13 below zero. And I want to see if you guys could let Sam know. I was thinking of him again today as we drove by a shirtless marathon in those brutal conditions. So it looks like he has really set off an international trend.
But was it the cold or the shirtless part that had you thinking of Sam?
It was the shirtless part. I should explain, just by way of context, yesterday we showed some Instagram pictures of Sam shirtless and largely pantless. Anyway, check his Instagram account.
Bathing suit weather. Reminder, it's bathing suit weather.
I also want to point out that Sam is filling in for Rob.
Yeah.
And
Thanks for bringing that up, Amy.
So happy to have you here. We are, and notwithstanding your Instagram follies, we're very happy to have you here.
Well, I was so ready to give Amy some stats because tomorrow those winds are going to be like 40 miles an hour again.
Oh, wow.
And she's right. Those wind chills are well below 10 below in that area. So
You're really not talking about
I
the
wasn't thinking about going into
pants.
swimwear or pants or anything like that. Hi, everybody. Good morning, everybody. On your Sunday, let's get you rolling. We've got so much weather to talk about today, and there's a lot of rain and flooding and ice and sliding. We'll start with these pictures out of Indiana, and you're going to see a spin out right here, which is to remind you, and like I-44 in Missouri was shut down for a while overnight tonight. There's been a lot of freezing drizzle, and there's just 2/10 of an inch of ice on the road on I-44 right now. And you're saying to me, hey, 2/10 is not a lot, but that makes sure your tires do not touch the pavement and you have no control. It's not all-wheel stop, it's all-wheel drive. And that means you're going to slide all over the place. Here's another problem that's going on. This is in Smyrna, Tennessee. All of this flooding, we're talking about 2-3 inches of rain, but these creeks swell first, then they feed the rivers. The Cumberland River in some places is up like 18 feet. So there's some real-time flooding going on. And see this rain? It's not leaving today. This rain that goes all the way from the deep south. Oh, I also want to mention in that Florida Panhandle, there have been some reports of tornado damage there. Please, in South Georgia and Florida, keep up with your local stations, your local ABC stations. There's some big-time storms in that area, and look how much pink there is. That's how much ice in Texas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, all the way up into New York State and Maine. If you're driving this morning, please be very, very careful. That's the weather around the nation. Here's what you can expect this morning.
Flood watch remains in effect through the evening hours, and a flood warning ongoing for Orange County and also Prince William County until noon today. So exercise caution if you are traveling. Rain ongoing through the afternoon, a few breaks through the evening, and then an additional shower and thunderstorm possible by tonight. Temperatures expected to break into the 60s. Early half of the week remains cloudy and also cooler, but we're back on the rise by the middle half of the week. We're in the 60s on Thursday.
And if you wanted swimwear weather, it's 82 in Miami today.
I have to say, just knowing that, I said this yesterday, just knowing that Sam is here to pick on makes me so much better.
I know.
It's incredible.
It is really, really good to see you, my friend.
You're a good sport.
Yeah. Speaking of shirtless, hey, Ron.
Hi. Interesting transition. Ace, good morning to you, and Dan, Adrian, and Sam.
Thank you, sir.
With the shirt. And good morning, everyone. We begin in Ohio, where 2 police officers were shot and killed Saturday afternoon just outside of Columbus, Ohio, in Westerville, Ohio, responding to a potential domestic situation. Men and women in uniform paying their respects as the bodies of 39-year-old Eric Joring and 54-year-old officer Anthony Morelli were transported. A suspect is in custody, injured, and in the hospital. President Trump tweeting, saying his thoughts and prayers are with the slain officers. And in Los Angeles, a security breach at LAX airport. Police taking into custody a man after he made his way onto the runway. They say he got through a fence, ran up to a Southwest airplane about to take off, and pulled a fire extinguisher from the plane's wheel well, which set off a cockpit alarm. Some flights there delayed, and that plane returned to the gate for extra security checks. And in Florida, Jay-Z joining hundreds of marchers in Miami Gardens for the 6th annual Peace Walk and Peace Talk rally. The gathering honors victims of gun violence, including Trayvon Martin, an African-American teen who was fatally shot while on a walk in 2012. Jay-Z, who was producing a docu-series about Martin, called him a beacon of hope. Convicted former USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar has been transferred to a high-security federal prison in Tucson, Arizona, to begin serving his 60-year sentence on federal child pornography charges. Nassar is also sentenced to up to 175 years behind bars on sexual assault charges in 2 state courts. He has to first serve that 60-year federal sentence before he can serve those state sentences. And as the flu epidemic spreads here in the U.S., a Japanese drug maker is claiming it has developed a pill that can kill the flu virus in just 1 day. If true, that is far faster than